Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the United States of a Movie Podcast. We're the movie podcast that makes almost every Monday a fun day as we get together and we talk movies. But we have a point here at the United States of a Movie. We are trying to find one movie to define each state in these United States. We've already done one trip around the states. We're currently on our second, and this week we're stopping off in the state of Idaho, the potato state. And as an Englishman, I do love my potatoes. And as a movie fan, these movies were fine. And we'll get to it. But before we get there, let me welcome back my amazing co-hosts who have also been incredibly patient with my crazy life over the last 2 weeks. Sorry for the delay in the new episode, guys. Things have happened. However, we are back. We're going. And Ryan, as always, in Arizona. Welcome back to the show.
Conversely, nothing for me has happened. It's just taken me 3 weeks to watch these fucking movies.
And sitting in the middle of his very own video store in Los Angeles, California, Will Hirsch, looking very cool, my man.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be here. It's actually been so long since we recorded the last podcast that I have recorded another podcast.
What?
With our buddy Matt McCarthy. I will be on his VHS Tapes Are Magic podcast.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Hollywood Video Days.
Bury the fucking
And I recorded
lead.
that one weeks ago. It has been a while.
That's awesome, man. I can't wait to see that.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's great. Yes, we will put that up on our Facebook page. Send us links. That will be very cool.
For sure.
But yeah, so this week we were stopping off in Idaho, and I've already forgot. What was the champion? Who were we trying to dethrone?
Napoleon
We just said it before the episode, and I
Napoleon
can't
Dynamite.
remember.
That's right, Napoleon Dynamite. I'm almost certain because it is maybe the most Idaho movie ever made.
God.
Will's favorite movie. I should say Will's favorite Idaho movie until now.
Wow, Idaho.
The twisterification of this podcast is fucking sending me. Like, where are we finding these movies? Internet, get your shit together.
No kidding.
Well, I will say, one of these movies is quite legendary, kind of a cult movie, something I've known about my whole life. It was very much being talked about in the 90s with two actors at their absolute sort of peak hotness, doing something a bit weird, esoteric, and gay. Ooh, it was the 90s when it was, edgy and taboo. And the other one is a movie from 2013 with one of the most incredibly
great, like a Marvel movie stacked cast.
Going.
When Darcy Carden popped up in the one scene in the movie theater, I was like, oh shit, it's Janet. I love her.
Yes.
I was like, what?
Andy Samberg shows up 2/3 of the way through. It's crazy. So yeah, look, there was the to-do list was the idea that with the one that we were going for. Aubrey Plaza, who I adore, finds so bizarre, so strange. She makes such interesting choices when it comes to line readings or moments and reactions that I honestly just find her compelling. I can't stop watching her.
Yeah, I think this was like peak Parks and Rec Aubrey Plaza too for that time period, right?
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, it's like I said, let's look at this cast, which is like Aubrey Plaza, cool, but we've got Bill Hader and we've got Rachel Bilson and Donald Glover and Andy Samberg and Christopher Mintz-Plasse and Connie Britton and Clark Gregg, and I'm like just going and going.
And the young kid from Modern Family, who I don't even know if it was Modern Family was on at the time. Like, he's one of the little boys.
It's also got the bass young Neil from Scott Pilgrim.
The only other thing I know him from.
Yes,
and maybe it's like a weird obscure horror movie somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, you know, like I was saying to Mrs., it's like I was like the to-do list. It's a little bit like American Pie. It's a little bit like that really great movie with the two girls.
Booksmart.
Thank you. It's a little bit Booksmart.
It's very post Superbad, this like type of young sex comedy, but it's so clearly like written and directed by a woman from a woman's perspective.
Yes.
Which I did appreciate. But I remember like after seeing Booksmart or like Blockers or these more, I would skew like more modern-ish sex comedies. I hate using that phrase, but I was expecting this to be like, for as raunchy as it was, I was expecting it to be a bit raunchier and a lot funnier.
It's I thought it was funny, but I will say a lot of it felt kind of light.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, not quite as raunchy. It's a lot more mathematical and a lot
Yeah.
more procedural than you expect. But I think that
Yeah.
kind of played into the
Just
strength
her
of the movie.
character.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And I think too, because I watched the show, it was Pen 15, which is a very similar thing. It's like a coming of age tale of two young girls in the 90s, like going through high school, except the young girls are played by women in their like 30s,
Yeah.
but everyone else is a child, an age appropriate child. So it's this weird fucking thing. But that really, as a child of the 90s, that show really captured the feeling of 90s versus other movies that are set in the 90s don't quite capture outside of like, okay, we've got some music, we kind of got the fashion, and there's definitely a guy with devil sticks. Like that's how you know, like,
Right.
oh, this is the 90s because the guy has devil sticks. But outside of that,
Yeah.
it still felt a little too modern.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually interesting point because I think even actually I just watched the movie and we're talking about it, and even I forgot the 90s of it because the
Yeah.
90s
Yeah.
of it barely even features apart from she has a trapper keeper.
And every photo of Hillary Clinton. that
Yeah,
pops
yeah,
up
yeah.
in
Yes.
Okay.
the movie.
Yeah.
The Hillary Clinton of it all is quite funny. But
Yeah.
essentially, like the point of the movie is like I said, it's just like American Pie. It's just like Booksmart. It's the smartest girl in school, valedictorian, realizes, she's also just a completely buttoned up, sort of never had any crazy wild sexual adventures. So she puts together a whole new to-do list of quite literally everything and anything sexual that you can
Which
do.
is pretty funny.
It is no,
Yeah.
and it's like I said. I'm with Will that there's times that this movie is funny. I was entertained by it. There's a good cast. There's things like in it that but it's not. I never once howled like I did
No.
watching
No.
It's a
Booksmart.
weirdly-
I never once
yeah.
cringed like I did watching American Pie. There's just a couple of moments when no, don't do it, and then Aubrey Plaza spits, and then
Yeah.
you get a freeze frame, and I'm like, come on, man,
It's weirdly forgettable. Like,
yeah.
It
for a-
doesn't.
for a movie like a movie in this genre, there's so many. I hate to say it because it's a fine film, but there's so many better.
It's not hiding out.
No,
No, there are no Dracula assassins, which
no.
this movie definitely needed. No, it doesn't stick with you. It's kind of cute. It's kind of funny. You do appreciate that it's a woman writer director.
Yeah.
Bill Hader's wife at the time was the one who wrote,
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay.
which is why he's here. But yeah, it's almost I don't even know what the right word is. It kind of like vapor. It kind of like it's there
Yeah.
and kind of goes away.
It's weirdly like it plays it a little too safe,
While
like, it's-
taking weird big swings.
right. Like
It
there's
doesn't
some-
commit to either side of it. It's trying to
Yeah.
play it. It's trying to play both.
Yeah, it's
It
you're-
feels a bit PG-13.
that's
and
the
then
best way to
it feels
describe
very
it. Yeah.
R-rated.
Yeah.
It's like R-rated stuff's happening, but it's all presented in a PG-13 way. And it's like, come on, which are we doing?
Yeah,
It's like
and the movie starts. It starts at like the graduation, so it's got this very like last day because I don't know, it takes place over I guess the summer, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because last day of school, and then her friends are a little bit more promiscuous, and it's yeah, they go to this. They're like, hey, we're gonna take you to your first party. And that's where she has her first drink, and and they're drinking apple pucker, which is so fucking funny to me because it's so gross.
Yeah.
If you've ever had any of the pucker line of alcoholic beverages, they're wild.
I think it's explaining why you're sober.
Yeah, I'm just having PTSD flashbacks of when I was drinking apple pucker straight out of the bottle. I'm like, oh no, and then it cuts to her barfing like neon green. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
Well, that's where she gets introduced to Rusty Waters, who I have
Fucking
written
terrible name.
I have it written as great name, as in for like what the character is and the
It's such a Boogie Nights porno character name.
Exactly,
Right.
Dirk Diggler. And then essentially it's like again, Aubrey Plaza does a lot of work with her face, but horny Aubrey Plaza, like for the first time ever, horny Aubrey Plaza, like is such a crack up.
And
Yeah.
comparing her to her sister,
Rachel
Rachel,
Bilson.
who's an absolute smoke show, and like her slutty, promiscuous sister, and you have her parents who are like just kind of super chill about it, which they have their whole sea story together, which is pretty fucking funny. That comes back to the end.
Right, yeah.
Like, oh God.
Yeah, no, Clark Gregg. I do. Yeah, Clark Gregg's doing
Seeing
some
Clark
good
Gregg's
work.
vinegar strokes was just not on my bingo card.
God, I love that scene where they're all sitting down and they're talking about circumcised versus uncircumcised
Yeah.
penises, and she's just like, "Honey, what was you like? Why did you get a circumcision?" He's like, "All right, I'm off to.
Yeah, I'm all right.
I'm out of this."
Yeah, gotta get down to Shield.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, so this movie is it's got every single piece, and it's assembled competently. It's a like it just like when you do finish the puzzle, you're looking at it going, oh, I thought it would be bigger, or
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't. Maybe it should have had 150 more pieces. It's like I said, it's we've definitely done worse movies on this podcast. You know, I think like what this,
Yeah.
you know, this movie was a blacklist script in 2010. Like it was this one, it was on the blacklist. So if you don't know what the blacklist is, ladies and gents at home, it's basically this sort of like this unofficial list that everyone's talking about in Hollywood every year of the most popular, best unproduced scripts. It's like people going, why is this script not being made? Everyone's talking about it, but it's just for some reason it goes into turnaround. It doesn't happen. It's sort of whatever. And this one, you know, eventually gets made. And like, it was a $1.5 million movie that made $4 million. But I think people were thinking this movie was
That's a crazy budget
big.
for this. Like, I mean, it makes sense when you watch it in context, but that's a very low budget for any movie of that time period.
It's a little more than Twister '89. That's crazy.
And $90 million less than. Oh, yeah, that was Twister 89. Shit.
Yeah.
We're still talking about it. God damn it.
Let's talk about that. Was it like the Robert Zemeckis Harrison Ford movie?
Oh, What Lies Beneath. Yeah.
That amazing 200 million. It's all that movie almost cost as much as that commercial that the U.S. government produced that got that chick fired. The one that shoots dogs.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah,
like
yeah.
the
Yeah.
$220 million commercial. Everyone's like going, wait a minute. We could have had
It was
Endgame.
such a fucking Detroiter style commercial. Where
yes.
It
it's
seems
like
so
Devereaux
funny.
wigs or something.
That's, and we leave it up to you, the people at home, to decide what's a better use of money: What Lies Beneath or that
Well,
propaganda video.
if I hear she's coming back for that new Avengers movie, though. So-
What if
awesome.
the U.S. military is just dropping like 4Ks of What Lies Beneath and Twister?
That is crossing the line. That is going too far.
we're gonna win hearts and minds?
Finally, a real war crime.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm gonna change channels on this one because it's fucking funny. It's just let's talk a little bit about more about like this movie. Like they get into all these kind of stuff. I mean, like, okay, there's a couple of moments in this movie where I was like, what do we like? The floating poo scene.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
cannot believe how far that went. And I was like, no,
Yeah,
no.
I was
No.
even I was like, oh no, I know they're gonna do it. That's like if it ever in your mind you're like, what if in Caddyshack he actually did eat a fucking log of shit? That
Right.
happens in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's not as funny as you would think. You're just like,
No.
oh man,
It-
why are
it's
they
just-
doing it?
It's just kind of gross and sad. And the one funny part of it is where Aubrey Plaza is like, I get it, like Caddyshack.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I do love Bill Hader being like, what's
Oh no.
Caddyshack? Like,
Yeah. He is so good in this. Like,
Yeah.
it's such a minimalistic, like dialed down role. I do love him. It's, I guess in the end when he's fucking her sister.
The bit where he's still inside Clark,
Yeah.
he's talking to Clark Gregg while still inside his daughter.
Yeah.
And like, and I was just, he was doing some masterful work with just his
Yeah.
face as well. I'm like, this is very, very funny. This is very, very funny. And like, this is what I mean is like, it would get me up, it would get me down. You know what I mean? It's like, there was bits where she's going through her list and she goes, shocker. One who shocks. You know, like she's
Hey,
misunderstanding
she's looking through the dictionary
to find out
align,
what
like-
these means.
and-
And she goes, pearl necklace. Sounds elegant.
Yeah,
It's
it's
really
not.
not.
Yeah. But even it's so funny because even her friends are like, with some of those things are a little like they don't know what that is, which is kind of funny.
That I appreciated that humor of like
Yeah.
the supposedly more experienced friends are also clueless on a lot of things. Like,
It was Alia Shawkat from Arrested Development, and I
Yeah.
forget her other friend's name.
yeah.
And those two characters were because their whole thing was they just wanted to hang out and watch beaches.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, and so like Aubrey Plaza's character really does aggressively go after this sort of stuff. She draws up a list. She's
Like a bullet journal style list with
Yeah.
the item, like
the names, the guys.
the list of who she's gonna do it with, and it checks off. And like, boy, I sure hope this doesn't come up later.
Right. Yeah.
But like, you know, like I said, there's legitimate like funny bits where she's decided that she would like to graduate to a finger bang, as it's described.
Yeah.
And then the guy washes his hands, and she's like, "Did you just double wash?" And then it just cuts to this whole thing. And like I said, there's so much about this.
She's
movie.
so weirdly pragmatic about everything,
Yes.
including her
Yeah.
sexual escapades, which does elevate this a little bit more by her performance.
Yeah, because she's
Yeah.
just so deadpan. At
Like when
times.
she's watching him wash his hands, and
Yeah.
it's just this extreme close up, which is maybe one of the most graphic things in the movie.
Yeah.
Somehow,
Yeah.
he's just like God.
Yeah. But her performance is great because Aubrey Plaza, especially at this time, she kind of mastered the art of like she's not acting and that's why it's working.
Yeah.
She's just being Aubrey Plaza. Like I always think of like for some reason Seth Green and Buffy I think always made the choice of like I'm not going to act, I'm just going to read the lines.
Mhm.
And it works for that character for some reason.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She's kind of doing the same thing here, where she's like, "Well, I'm not going to really act. I'm just going to be Aubrey Plaza
Right.
in these situations."
Which most
it
of her
works.
career has kind of been like that.
Yeah.
Like I think what was the first thing she was in was Funny People, Adam Sandler movie, where she's like a stand-up comedian.
Really,
I-
and that's kind of
can't
like
remember where she started.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that was like one of her first like big time roles.
yeah,
I mean,
Which
my
is,
first
again,
two
like playing a
my
version
first
of
two
it.
notes are I find Aubrey Plaza so funny ... and scary.
Yeah.
She's
yeah,
but I'm like again compelled. Can't look away.
If you get a chance to see the movie Ingrid Goes West, it's like a dark comedy where
I've
she
heard great
develops
things.
this like crazy parasocial relationship with someone on Instagram, and it's wild, and it's a good because it's her playing the same role, but it's got this dark twist to it that's really unique for that movie. But anyway.
she's really kind of like coming to her own as an actor and is doing some really like kind of interesting stuff these days. Not the least of which is in Megalopolis. That's right. I'm going to take over the podcast. No. But yeah, she's like the reason I think to see this movie. Like, even though the cast is great, if this didn't have her, if this had somebody else in the lead role, like somebody who's maybe not a comedian, and try somebody who like a Mandy Moore or someone who was trying to do something more interesting,
Yeah,
it wouldn't work.
I do have a yeah. I mean, I'm sure it could. I mean, not with that's a very specific example, but I'm sure
Yeah.
with like someone. But she is what makes this movie watchable. You know?
Yeah.
Has anyone seen? Because I was like, people have been talking about Honey Don't, which is
I-
directed by Ethan Coen, which is the sort of like it's got
And
Margaret Qualley.
yeah. I've
And
heard
I'm
mixed
like,
things
that's-
about it.
Yeah, and
I-
then you've got like Megalopolis as well. But then Emily the Criminal, I remember people talking.
I like that
about,
one was fine. Yeah, I like that one.
Like
Yes.
bestsellers with Michael Caine. She's just got like
She did one. I think it was called like The Others with where it's her and Alison Brie are playing like nuns that kind of try and
yeah.
break
What was
free
the
from
Alison
mold.
Brie one? I was looking for that one, but I'm not seeing it on the
Is
list.
it The Others? Maybe.
There's My Old Ass. No, that's interesting. But yeah, she's like
She
she
takes
does
good
make
swings. Yeah.
great
Yeah.
choices. She
Mhm.
doesn't. She doesn't like. Yeah, there's no like Aubrey Plaza movie, and
Mhm.
you know, and I just think
This is it.
this is this is
Yeah.
the most Aubrey Plaza movie
Yeah.
you know ever. There's some really like funny lines. Like I did like the 190s, but like I love hypercolor on you. When like, Chris Mintz-Plasse is like playing the game, but there was I think it was a Donald Glover line about where he's like, "I suck dick at eating pussy." It was such
Yeah.
a,
He was great for the small. It's crazy to again like you see people pop up in the cast of this movie, and then you realize like, oh, this was 2013 where everyone's on like major like network sitcoms, so they're just like, let's just get everybody and put them in this film.
was it Jack
Yeah.
McBride? Yeah, he turns up as well for like
Yeah,
Oh,
he
the
plays
manager of the other pool.
the rival pool. Yeah, like this could have been like if this was. It feels like they were really trying to make an 80s style like raunchy type of film, but set it in the 90s, but made in 2013.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again,
And it
missing,
somehow
like,
just
an
doesn't
80s
quite-
one
Yeah,
is Porky's, an 80s one
right.
is Animal House.
Fast Times at Ridgemont
You
High.
know,
There were no
it's-
like for the stakes in this movie too, her whole thing is just ultimately to get laid, but it's like her working her way to that. Like, so it's like make out, hand job, blow job. Like, it's literally it's a pretty funny list, and it's written in these like, of course, 90s gel pens.
Yeah.
And like, and then I guess the pressure is like you have I'm gonna call him Young Neil. I forget his name.
Yeah, young Neil.
Yeah.
But he's like the nice guy who's super into her, but she's like, no, I'm gonna like save that for,
The hot guy.
the hot rusty trombone, whatever his name is, I forget.
What else
But-
is that guy from? That guy, like his.
I had to Google. I
Rusty
couldn't.
Waters.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna check.
He's
him
got
out.
such a face, right? Like,
Yeah, he's
He's
the
so
moment-
Scott
he's-
Porter. He's from the TV drama Friday Night Lights.
oh, okay.
Netflix series Ginny and Georgia. He's in The Good Wife. So he's like, it doesn't seem like he did
Another TV
like the
guy,
last
right?
the movies he did. The 2013 he did the To-Do List, and then he apparently was in a 2021 movie that doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. So
It's the sequel. It's To Do List.
they're two.
Yeah, TOO.
and the S is a money sign. Yeah, he's done a lot of TV though. So he was like the voice of Flash and Harley Quinn, Lucifer. He's in.
I mean, most of like if you think about it now, most of the cast was. Even Connie Britton was on Friday Night Lights, right?
yeah.
He was in The Masked Singer. so
right.
yeah,
They
I mean,
made a third Mask movie. Fuck.
So yeah, no, I mean, like, I guess of all the like people in this movie, like Scott,
And I like that they played it against type. Like he wasn't your typical. Like he had this vulnerability to him. I guess like this movie does kind of skirt your expectations a little bit, like just enough. I'm like, oh, that's cool that they're doing this character this way instead of what you would normally get from a movie like
And
this.
like the Aubrey Plaza's character is very much in control the entire time. These are all decisions and choices
Yeah.
that she's making. Even if it comes to go, oh, that was it, or I kind of regret that one, or like, you know, it's so, you know, credit where credit's due, and like, yeah, it's very much a sort of a female led.
And I like I
story.
appreciate the relationship she had with her sister in this movie too. I thought their chemistry was pretty funny together.
Yeah.
But Booksmart does it better.
Booksmart does it better. And I think the reason why this movie doesn't work is because we're literally moving through her checklist. Like, and there's not like the stakes aren't getting amped up. There isn't like fallout from like, okay, now she did this,
right?
But that caused chaos over here. Booksmart does that. Like Booksmart, all their
Easy
decisions.
Easy A
does
a
it.
great
Like
I
where
guess
you get the whole twist, and so no, not twist, but suddenly the story gets derailed and things go wrong.
Right.
It never really happens in this movie.
I guess the stakes are in this are when young Neil finds the to-do list. And
Right.
then like starts to hear rumblings of like, oh, there's this girl that has a to-do list and she's running through, and that's when everyone kind of comes up to her to, like, I mean, she really hooks up with three people in the, right? No, I guess
Christopher,
what,
she does that.
Oh, yeah,
I forgot Chris.
Yeah, I
I
forgot
love
about
that bit where
that.
Custer. He's just an asshole. Like it was again that was
Because her
fun.
friend is like super into him, which
Yeah.
I guess that causes some friction, but it's just like,
But then
But
it's
it's so tepid.
yeah, but they overcome it by singing during beaches.
Because they never really established that her friend is like super into him until well after that. I'm like, oh, why would you be into him? Like this guy? Come on.
Right. Yeah. So
When those two characters are like very gay coded too, like her two friends, they have this like chemistry together. So I thought maybe that was gonna be a thing, but it's not. That's like, I don't know. They just especially they just want to hang out and watch beaches, which I mean, come on.
we all know what that means.
Yeah. Why would you watch beaches? Barb and Star Go to Visit Del Mars right there.
Yeah, well,
Right.
not in the 90s.
It could have been.
Now I want to watch Barb and Star.
Yeah.
I mean,
We
there's-
should have fucking 10 sequels to that movie.
They should.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, again, there's just funny moments.
Yeah.
You know, like
vignettes,
like the bit where she's just like, how does she doing this with a straight face when she's masturbating? Is just she's making again face.
Yeah.
She's just doing so much
It's
face
so
work.
intense.
I'm
Or when
just
she's
like,
giving him the fucking hand job in the movie theater too.
yeah,
Right.
And then
and get
she
butter.
runs out, calls her sister, and then the extreme close up of just the butter pumping and then her walking back, and then just the lifting up of her. I was like, God, I knew they were gonna
yeah.
do it. I'm like,
You're like,
Yeah.
oh, they're gonna do the thing without.
sure,
doing
it's
the other thing.
gross, but it's not like
Funny
done in a
gross.
funny way. Yeah.
Yeah.
The best
Right.
part about that was seeing Darcy Carden, the realization of what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, there's funny bits to it, but
The whole
parts,
Hillary Clinton of it all is it's like a weird choice.
yeah,
to put in
the parts
movie,
do not outweigh the sum, I suppose.
Yeah. You know.
The other way, whatever it is.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So
Yeah.
like, but that being said, like it does start like I go right off the beginning. It just goes Boise, Idaho.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay, we're straight in.
Sure. Yeah.
Yep.
And then they definitely shoot most of it in California.
Yeah.
But, like at least
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, at least they do go for the Idaho of it. And like,
And
yeah,
at least I was gonna say, at least the entire movie takes place in Idaho.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like which isn't necessarily true of another movie that has Idaho in the name.
Yeah.
Originally, the movie was called The Hand Job, and it could not get made. They had to change it from The Hand Job, which, honestly, The To-Do List is a much better name.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
it makes
lot
more
more
sense.
sense.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a double entendre, all that kind of stuff.
I've only seen the Italian hand job. The Statham one. I got one job to do.
In my hand.
All hands on deck.
On the hand job.
So fucking write this down. I was listening to our whatever old episode we did, the Louisiana episode where we were talking about Statham. We literally, I was talking to Ollie about this. We literally projected his entire career post. This is like pre-Beekeeper.
Yeah.
And we were like, Will was talking about, he's like, what if we got to do like a JCVD style movie where Statham basically plays himself or something like that, where he like steals a bicycle, and I'm like, they're making that fucking movie now.
Literally.
Making the yes.
How do we not have 1 billion subscribers? We have the one studio that's stealing all our great.
That's right.
We should have put
came
that
up with-
shit on Polymarket.
We
We'd
should
have been
yes,
making money.
I'm like,
Oh
my
my
cow
God.
sheet is overloading. Like, we had this idea of just calling it Jason Spatham. I don't know. Like, it was basically Jason Statham in an Aliens movie. Like, great, yeah. Fucking, let's
Jason
go.
Spaceman. Yeah.
Jason Spatham.
Oh
I think
my
was the
God.
point. Jason Spaceman? Jason Space Jam? Okay, hang on.
Oh,
Alright,
keep going.
We're going.
We're cooking now.
I wish I had a whiteboard right here.
Is it possible to become too rich off of ideas? Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Hold on, Paramount's calling.
Can you put more Nazis in it?
Actually.
So like, okay, so this movie, in a way, we were like, we wish it had taken sort of like a bit more of a swing. Now, the other movie.
Well, hang on too. I was thinking about that too. Not to jump ahead, but I'm glad this movie. I feel like because this movie is written by a woman writer director. If this was written by a man, it probably would have. But I feel like you kind of lose that realness. Like this somehow, like this felt like a personal
Yes.
film. You know,
Yeah.
like it felt like this was based off of maybe some experiences that she had or something to that effect.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's true, but at least it had that authentic feel to it.
Yeah.
Versus a man writing a young girl's to-do list, which feels very wrong.
Would be weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I agree. Like I said, and I'd still say watch it. And I say there's definitely entertaining moments in it, and it's got a really great cast.
She finally gets to do the sex, and then how does it end? It's her fucking the guy. He ejaculates prematurely as she makes direct eye contact with her father, who's fucking her mom, in the car next to them. I'll like make out point. The whole B story of like the dad finding out that Connie Britton, his wife, wasn't his first, like, but he's still really good at sex because his penis is uncircumcised, or is. I don't.
I
care.
lost track. Yeah, I lost
it doesn't
track
matter.
of where we were with that exact sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, like it is.
It's fun.
But the other
it's a
movie
good watch.
that we brought this week is, like I said, the cult movie. I've heard a lot about it. Is a movie that is taking every swing. Constantly.
Yeah.
It is like Gus Van Sant, who we've had on the show before. We did Good Will Hunting, did we not? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And it's like, honestly, to begin with, I go, oh, this is a Lars von Trier movie, and then I'm like, oh wait, no, it's Gus Van Sant. And I go,
oh no, wait, it's a Terrence Malick or
it's this movie, my own
or
private
David
Idaho.
Lynch, like
Yes, because you were texting sort of like David Lynch. But my first note on this movie
the
is
aesthetic of it.
this. Oh, I know,
Yes.
but I was like, this movie's gonna be different. From the very beginning, it announces itself as, oh, this is.
I thought I was still watching the to-do list.
It does go there a couple of times. But
Yeah.
So let's talk about My Own Private Idaho, a movie a lot of people were talking about when I was a teenager. You know, I'm at school, stuff like that. You know, this movie came out in 91, but I was sort of hearing about it in sort of like 93, 94, where, you know, like the VHS was going around school or people are talking about seeing it. You heard the older girls talking about it because it's River Phoenix, it's Keanu Reeves. And then, like I said, you hit everyone's like, it's the
Udo Kier.
yeah, dude, I love when he turned up. But they were like, it's all I knew about it. All I knew about it was it's as like from the 90s description from the scuttlebutt going around school. Oh, it's a River Phoenix Keanu Reeves gay movie. That's all I knew. And like, I had no idea it's also a loose adaptation of William Shakespeare's Henry IV, Part 1, Part 2, and Henry V. I'm going to use loosely, pretty loosely.
Very loose. Yeah.
I think this is the third Shakespeare modernish adaptation that we've done.
I think
right?
so, right? Did we do 10
It was
Things I Hate
it was
About
10 Things
You?
I Hate About You,
And
My Own
Action
Private
USA.
Yeah.
and Son-in-Law.
Yeah.
Oh man, what am I doing? I'm not wearing my vintage Action USA t-shirt.
Oh, dude.
Oh.
Yes. Like Kyle, fan of the show, he listens to our episodes, loves it, thinks Ryan's the funniest guy on the planet Earth because you are. But actually sourced me a vintage Action USA t-shirt, which I was proudly wearing the other day.
Yes.
Now I'm telling you, you got to start doing Action USA tours in Waco.
I'm honestly,
Get a fucking That Englishman helicopter.
yeah.
Dangle people
Dangle
outside
from
of
it. Yeah.
yeah.
I like this.
Get an old Porsche, jump the just
Yeah.
reenact.
hell
Just
yeah.
I should
it'll
shot
be
for
like
shot remake the
I'm
opening
saying,
of
like,
this movie.
It's just like with Universal Studios. It'll just be that show running every hour where you're just exploding, jumping through a fucking RV
Hell
or
yeah.
something.
Bloody hell, Ryan, Waco's going to become like the tourist center of not just Texas but America.
Yeah.
If not the world.
What's left of it?
If we start doing that, because that would be, that would be one of the coolest things I ever do. Is if
Action USA, the movie, the ride, the tour.
Hell yeah. Book your tickets now, people.
Yeah.
Ryan, get that goddamn whiteboard, all right?
Oh, God.
write that shit down. So this movie, I write down Idaho survived the opening scene. At least it does feel like we do go to the real Idaho in
For
this
sure,
movie
yeah.
a few times,
Or at least
when-
one empty
particular
street of it.
road.
Yeah.
One road.
I do believe that's the main highway of Idaho.
But it's a pretty low criteria on this podcast, just to clarify. Like, that's really all you need to get on to have a movie
Yeah.
featured on
Well,
this show.
speaking of criteria, this had a Criterion Collection logo
Fuck
at
yeah,
the
it did.
beginning
Sure
of it
did.
when I watched it. So yeah, like this movie has
And yet,
been...
no one's closet pick.
I
Well,
see what you did there.
Okay, so everybody knows I rent the movies from the video store that you see behind me if you're watching on YouTube. There's a young gal who works there and I said like, oh, I need this movie for the podcast. She was very, very excited and proclaimed this to be one of her favorite movies. So as we talk about this movie,
You're engaged.
No. This is a very young gal, so no,
Okay, oh, boy.
no. So I will be very nice to this movie, but Nikki, if you are listening, she is a fan of the podcast. Just bear in mind, we say all this critique with love, right, guys?
Except
Like,
Ryan. Ryan does it with hate.
Yeah.
Well, okay, we can't speak for Ryan.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Honestly-
I will not co-sign on that.
Well, honestly, while I was watching the movie, I was actually texting friend of the show, Carrie, and she was like, love this movie. She goes, I saw that movie in the theater. You know what I mean?
That
So
is
got
such a Carrie Byron movie.
It is
yeah.
it's a very Carrie coded
Uh-huh.
movie. It's like a bit weird, a bit out there, a bit esoteric. You know what I mean? Like it's so.
This movie was on her to-do list.
I think this is a movie where I think girls especially will like. This is a gay movie for women.
Yeah,
finally.
Yeah, I think because I don't even know if like gay men are the audience for this movie. I think. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but listeners out there, but I think this is a movie for girls, a gay movie for girls.
Well, it's almost like I get what you mean because it seems like it's definitely catering to the gay male and straight female gays.
Mhm.
Yeah.
which is a tricky word to say, Gaze when I'm talking about this. But it's like it's because that's what I texted Carrie. Where I was just like going, I was like, River Phoenix and Keanu Reeves are so fucking pretty.
Hmm.
Mhm.
They're absolutely like peak pretty in this movie, and it's 90s, so it's cool. The hair's
The
cool. The
hair, yeah.
outfits are cool. You know, it's
Is this
not.
movie set in the 90s? Because it could have been set any fucking time, to be honest. I mean, outside of the cars they drive.
It's yeah. It's shot
Right?
in 1991.
Right.
Which honestly, it
Yeah.
feels like a much more mid 90s movie, to be honest.
Which is crazy to me if you think about it, because you know what else came out in 1991? Two other Keanu Reeves movies. Do you know what they are?
Is it
Point
Bill and
Break
Ted?
and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Oh my
Now,
God.
follow-up question, which one of these three movies do you think Francis Ford Coppola saw and was like, that's my Jonathan Harker for, for Bram Stoker's Dracula?
I'm gonna guess Bill and Ted.
Isn't that crazy? He had these three movies come out the
That
same year.
that is insane, actually.
Wow.
Because
And
this
all of
feels
them
so
perfect.
this one feels so removed. I mean, honestly,
Yeah,
I
this
will
was
Yeah.
say I will say that I was watching, I think Keanu Reeves is doing great work in this.
yeah.
Oh
I think
yeah.
he's proper acting.
It's probably one
Um
of his better, like as far as acting chops go, it's especially
yeah.
comparing it to Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's
Yeah.
certainly one of his better films.
But no shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I was sitting there going, because there are times like, there's certain movies with Keanu that sometimes you feel he's leaning a little too much towards Ted.
Mm.
Or other
Mhm.
movies where like he's just like what people would describe him as wooden, and I would say every now and again I still think he's great, and like
Yeah.
Point Break,
Yeah.
holy shit, The Matrix, go
Right.
fucking like crazy, man.
Yeah.
Right.
John Wick,
Between
Swing for the
between
Fences.
two ferns, yeah.
Yeah.
The Lake House. But like in this particular case, like he is really really good in
Yeah.
this movie, and
Mhm.
it is like a movie that requires, like I
I
said, it is very swing for the fences.
I
Weird.
kept like lucidly, like mentally dipping out of this movie. Like this movie took me like 2 days to watch. I was just not into it at all.
Mm.
Like it was like I really wanted to try and enjoy this movie. And
Mhm.
I can see why people do love it, but I was so bored with it. I think after like watching like a Dish in the Spoon or like this type of movie, I have this now. I have this like movie barometer. It was like I asked myself this question: is Crispin Glover going to show up in this movie? Like, and the potential for it on this one was ranking quite high.
Yeah, and instead it was
Yeah.
Udo Kier. That was,
Yeah.
he takes
Yeah.
the Crispin Glover sort of role. I mean, so basically, if you haven't seen the movie, it's like, I mean, it involves basically the two guys are sort of street hustlers slash rent boys who live on the street. Mike, which is River Phoenix, he's sort of like
He's a
a bit,
narcoleptic.
yeah,
Yeah.
he has narcolepsy. He's sort of like he just sort of exists on the fringe of society, and really wants to find his mum. And then you got Keanu Reeves, Scott Favor, who is like the well-dressed, also just likes to slut it up and do drugs and hang out with the homeless people, but due to become very wealthy because his father's the mayor. So it's a
Mhm.
little bit like I said, if you get into the sort of Shakespeare of it, like a movie I really love is Timothy Chalamet, The King from Netflix, but it's
Mhm.
so basically it's the prince who just like he likes to sort of just slum around, get drunk, not take anything seriously, and then suddenly he's pushed up and he's going to be put on the throne. I mean, that's as close as the Shakespeare overlap I could find in this movie compared to
Yeah.
literally everything else that
Right,
happened.
because they abandon like Will, you pointed it out too, and I didn't clock it because again I was in and out of this movie mentally, but
Mhm.
this movie starts out like very scripted, almost like they're reading directly from the Shakespeare
It's
In a
it's
way.
like it's written in iambic pentameter.
Yeah, and then
Like,
they kind of just sort of get rid of that, but kind of pick it back up every now
yeah,
and again.
it's like the moment they leave Seattle, which by the way, the vast majority of this movie does not take place in Idaho. We need to start having a talk with the internet about what movies
Yeah.
take place
Yeah,
where.
this
I
movie
think
takes
the
place
people
Seattle,
suggested,
Portland, Rome,
yeah,
and Idaho.
the people
Yeah.
suggesting this movie have also never seen this movie.
Right, and that was kind of my fear going into it, is I'm like, is My Own Private Idaho, is that like just a cute phrase in the movie? It turns out I
Yeah,
don't know what the title means, but yeah, so every time when they left Seattle, which is where the movie kind of start, Portland, Seattle,
yeah,
like once it leaves there, the dialogue becomes extremely natural But the moment they go back, it kind of goes back into iambic pentameter, and I'm like, I don't quite get why.
I think it's a little bit like them returning to court. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like, in old England kind of thing. And like, because when there's the sort of the homeless guy, is it Bob?
Bob.
Um,
Yeah,
who's kind of like almost like king of the underworld, if you will. And it's got this sort of, this whole sort of weird, you're right. It does have
Mhm.
this kind of like, this different kind of vibe. But I like, you got these really bright colored title cards when we're
Mhm.
moving from place to place. And it's like, and then like weird things happen, like, the bit where all of the gay porn magazines are talking to each other.
That was actually my
Yeah.
favorite sequence in
Me
the movie.
too. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is weird and
Yeah.
funny. And it's
That's
like,
what that felt very Lynchian to me. Like that, the way
Yes.
it's shot is it's super cool. But
there's another thing that I wrote down that I'm interested to see what you guys feel like. So it's when we cut to sort of like, we're in the sort of Chinese restaurant, and we've got some of
Mhm.
these other homeless sort of rent boys that are talking and telling some of these stories. They felt like real people telling real stories. You
I
know,
was wondering. I
yeah,
was wondering about some of that. There's one actor. There's one of those people who's talking who I know is an actor because I saw them in something else. But the vast majority of them, I do wonder if they were real people.
and that
Or
would be kind of like a Gus Van Sant kind of thing to do.
yeah, I and going back to that magazine sequence real quick, the magazine
Hmm.
rack. Something I noticed right away when they were shooting it is I was like, oh, this is 91. So they're not doing compositing the way we would do it today. So I had that thought as I was watching as I'm like, how are they doing this?
The
Like,
magazines.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so did you look up online how they did it?
As you were saying it, literally just reading it. So it's fascinating.
Yeah, so the magazine covers are all actually mirrors.
huh.
And it's the
Plexiglass.
plexiglass, yeah. And the magazine rack itself is like gigantic. It's, overscaled. And so that's how they got it all filmed is it's all the actors literally on set together, it like framed within the plexiglass like
And
That's
magazine
cool,
and the
man.
covers.
magazine writing is on the glass.
That's
Yeah.
really
So
cool.
I
Yeah,
was like, I never would have put that. I sit there, it's like until you started bringing it up, and I was like, wait a minute, that's a really good point. Like, there's no
Yeah.
like CGI
yeah.
green screen in
I for
'91.
sure thought, yeah, I was like, that was clean. It was really interesting. It was so good. I didn't even like clock to think like,
Yeah.
how did they do this? It was just
Yeah,
like, this
it
is super
just
cool.
dawned on me that I'm like,
Yeah,
this is the early 90s, so they're not doing anything with computers.
right.
How are they doing this?
Yeah. It
So,
wasn't until 1999 that they invented computers.
yeah, exactly.
And then we entered the Matrix. Yeah, no, there was like then Flea turned up.
I was gonna say this is the third Flea movie we've covered on this podcast. Can you name the other two films?
Flea.
The other two
We
films.
didn't do Back to the Future.
I
No,
know.
we have not.
Um,
Flea in the
God.
movies we've done.
Yeah, I already mentioned one of them earlier in a really shitty joke.
Oh, damn it.
I'll tell you. So we did
Yeah.
Baby Driver. He's one of the criminals at the
Oh
Mike
my
Myers
God,
mask.
that's
He's a
right.
Baby Driver, and he's also in Son-in-Law as the tattoo artist when Carla Gugino gets her
Oh,
tattoo.
That's
I
right.
I blocked that entire movie
Wow.
out of my mind.
Wow. As far as like
God.
that's a deep cut, man. That's like
Ugh.
some of the movies I've blocked from my memory, but
Yeah.
that's wild. That's wild.
I mean,
I was
get
reading
ready
it
for
like,
United States of Flea next season.
yeah, for real.
No, he was so good in this. Like Gus Van Sant cast him in his remake of Psycho. So there you go.
Oh shit. That's a shot for shot remake one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The
River
Vince
Phoenix,
Vaughn comedy.
yeah, Vince Vaughn, River Phoenix, Keanu Reeves, Flea, Michael Parker, they all moved into Gus Van Sant's house in Portland during filming, but apparently just caused such a ruckus that Gus Van Sant moved out of his own
And
house.
I forget if Keanu Reeves had his band at this time, Dogstar, and if also Flea was a member of it for a bit. I forget. Like they
That's an
seem like
interesting point.
I think that's around the same time. Yeah.
yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked.
No.
But they're getting back together, by the way, Dogstar.
Yeah.
They're coming out with a new
Yeah,
album.
he's
so,
always he's been playing that kind of
He
like,
is a fucking treasure, man.
yeah.
yeah, he's doing a documentary about Formula One, the Cadillac. He's just Keanu Reeves. He's just one cool dude.
Yep.
Love it. And it's kind of like another part of this is just like River Phoenix, man. Like it was such a when he did die, it was outside the Viper Room, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember everybody hearing about that.
Yeah, because him and Keanu were like very close, and I think DiCaprio was in there too in the mix, and
I think so.
Probably.
Yeah.
it was
And
like
Johnny Depp, because that
Yeah.
Viper Room
That's
is
his
Johnny
place,
Depp's
yeah.
place. But like, yeah, when River Phoenix died, I remember like everyone was like, "What?" Because it's a little bit kind of like Heath Ledgery in
yeah,
a way of like you're always like going, there's going to be some cool. I mean, I always love River Phoenix. One of my favorite movies is Sneakers.
yeah.
Like, and he's just great in that, and he's got such an interesting approach. He's very fearless. He's fearless in this movie. So
Yeah.
is Keanu. But like they're not being afraid, and he's got this kind of like coolness, this James Deanian
Very,
coolness
very much so.
to River Phoenix, and he's
Yeah.
like even his hair's got its own like
Mhm.
much like Captain Kirk's eyebrows. You know what I mean?
He's got this.
Yeah.
God, I'm out. But he's like a young, like a DiCaprio type, but he's
Yeah.
just got this like James Dean type of edge to him, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. It's so sad that he
It
did
is.
pass away so young because like you can just only imagine like he would have had like an
All the
insane
Marvel
career.
movies he would have done, yeah.
Oh man, he would have been Thanos. It would have been great.
How
Definitely. Think of
He
the
would-
Joker he could have played.
Think of the Megalopolises.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. So basically, this movie is three different Gus Van Sant projects he merged together. He couldn't sort of finish them off. So
Feels like it.
One was a modern adaptation of Henry IV called Howling at the Moon about street kids in Portland, written entirely in Shakespearean verse, which really does match with exactly
Yeah.
what you said, Will.
Yeah.
There's
Baz Luhrmann
also
saw that and he's like, hang on, hold my
Yeah.
quill.
Wait a second.
the second was In a Blue Funk about two Spanish cousins living in the streets of Vegas who decide to go to Spain after seeing their name on a Spanish map to find out about their family. And the third, titled My Own Private Idaho, about a hustler who gets picked up by a German auto parts salesman and kept at home. So he's just he took bits of all three of those scripts and kind of just mashed them together.
That is the most like fuck it hubris thing I've ever heard.
I was gonna say he took three interesting ideas for movies and made one kind of.
Yeah.
I guess I'll be nice.
I mean, the idea is
Yeah.
Will just pulled back so hard.
Never
But-
mind. What a creative solution.
But to your point, like if you think of this movie as like almost an anthology telling these smaller like micro stories, I think it benefits from that versus just trying to make it one cohesive film that is just very abstract and bizarre at times. Like I said, the way it's shot, like it's an absolutely stunning looking movie.
yeah, yeah.
There's some
The
really
framing
great
they're doing,
moments.
it's really the set deck, like the locations that they're shooting
Yeah,
in
when they're all on the rooftops, and then you can tell they're all
on the hotels. It's just
Yeah.
like or whatever rooms they're in, they're just so like beautifully staged and feels very atmospheric and real.
There's so much cool stuff visually. Like and the house falling is like such a cool, like evocative shot. Like that's like amazing to watch, and like the cinematography of the road. That's really
Mhm.
fascinating. So there's a lot to chew on, especially if you're like into this kind of story. There's a lot of meat on the bone in that sense. All the sex scenes, the way those are shot, like
that's
as
such
if they're photographs, but it's just the actors freezing in place, which
such an interestingly weird choice.
Mhm.
yeah, which I just immediately I'm like, I gotta see the behind the scenes of like Udo Kier being like, "Do you have the clamp like near my ass? Okay, let's go."
Yeah,
Free-
no, it
like-
was really like it's a way of I really enjoyed that as a choice, but I was like,
Mhm.
man, why not just make it freeze frames?
Mm.
Why make them
Right.
freeze and roll on it? But it's still making the point of like it takes you through this really intense sort of sexual experience, but in a way that doesn't feel aggressive. It's more just like, oh, ooh, and then you're like you said, you're focusing on the little micro movements of them
Mhm.
as they're
Mhm.
frozen, and then again later with Keanu and the Italian woman, and
Mhm.
it's like I was like, again, it's like you're appreciating it for being weird. It's like
Yeah.
Mhm.
movie,
Especially at
gotta
that
be
time
weird,
period,
be
like
weird.
no one was doing shit
Being
like
weird
that.
like this. Yeah, we've just
Yeah.
come out
Yeah.
of the 80s where everything is just
Yeah.
so ABC muscly explosion tits.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then
This
you
movie
got
did need
this-
more of that, I will say.
Exploding
If
tits.
this movie
Got it.
had Schwarzenegger and Stallone in it instead of
Oh.
Keanu, and,
in
Let's
a
go find
face-off
your mom
style
in Rome.
situation as well. Like, yeah, I mean, I yeah, like the Udo Kier. As soon as he shows up in the movie, you know, ooh, shit's gonna get weird.
Yeah,
You know,
you don't put
100%
Udo
fucking
Kier in a
weird.
movie
No.
if you're like, so he's playing a normal guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, as always.
Yeah,
I joked like because they were both him and Keanu Reeves were in Johnny Mnemonic together. I'm like,
You're-
you think they like hung out on set and were talking about being together in this movie?
Remember when I
Yeah.
was sucking on your toes? It was
Yeah.
so cool. We did have another movie from the show referenced in this movie.
Rio Bravo.
Rio Bravo. Yes, that was. I was like, okay, all right, okay.
yeah, this was almost as gay as that movie.
Yeah, it was.
They also hated that movie. No.
Yeah, it was a hangout movie as well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, and then like, you know, did anyone clock River's dad? So the guy playing River's dad, when we get out to Idaho and we're in like sort of the double wide, I knew that guy is from a movie I've seen 1,000 times. I know that guy's voice and face, and I was like, oh, I know exactly who that guy is.
Oppenheimer.
I did when I.
Yeah, that's it.
He played the bomb.
He played the bridge in Bridge of Spies.
I just watched British Spies last night.
I know, that's why I said it.
I
know, we all know, Ollie. We all fucking know.
I see now. It's been so long since I saw the movie. While I was watching the movie, I did the Leo meme of pointing at that guy, and I was like, "Oh, I know him from something." But now it's been so long that now I can't even picture.
What
his
Star
face.
Trek movie is it?
It's not.
Yeah.
It is from one of the biggest movies of that year that it came out. He is the best friend of Axel Foley at the beginning of Beverly Hills Cop. He's the guy that gets shot in the corridor.
That's right.
And I was just like, I've never seen that guy in another movie, and he popped up in this one.
I've
I was
only
like,
seen
I
the
know
third
this
one.
guy.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop. The movie I watched way too many times, way too young as a child on VHS. I watched it 100 times, and then I got to see the actual version because I had the TV recorded version. So I didn't realize that Beverly Hills Cop is a lot ruder.
There's boobies in this?
Yeah, it's sort of a lot more swearing than I was expecting and things like that.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, okay, and then so the whole crux of the movie is trying to find Mike's mum, and we never do. It's just like, you know, we go to Italy and we get some really great Italy shots. And I'm like, shit, they went to Italy and we're shooting right in the middle of the city, and then we're shooting right out in the countryside. And it's I guess, like, there's almost no there to what's actually happening. It's all more of just like, it's kind of, we've talked about this before, it's one of those vibes movies.
It is very much a vibes movie. Yeah.
You know, it's not, we're not getting from A to B. We're not going to sort of really learn anything. You know, the only sort of weird sort of thing we have at the end is now Keanu marries the Italian girl, inherits the money, disowns Bob, and then gets in the car and he's on his way to do Devil's Advocate because he looks exactly like he does in Devil's Advocate when he's going away. But
I'm gonna go become a Southern lawyer.
Yeah. But like outside of that, like it's such a just experience.
Yeah.
You don't really watch it, you experience it. And like, I know what Ryan's saying because I was trying so hard to really watch it, but it was so hard to watch at the same time.
I kept finding it like very uninteresting. Like the idea of it is interesting, like the story they're trying to tell, but I kept glancing over to my phone like I should pick this up right now.
It didn't, yeah, right. It didn't quite, like, what was that amazing like movie, Sam Neill, set in East Berlin? It's
Possession?
Yeah, that's a movie that is a vibes movie that goes hard.
You're like, what the fuck is gonna happen?
Yeah, and
it's got a slimy sex monster too.
I was gonna say
right.
this movie could use way more leaking.
Yeah, but it just.
This movie barely squelches the surface.
But it could have just, like I said, for the swings it's taking, I'm like, all right, swing it a bit harder. Just a little bit. Make it a bit weird and compelling. And like, as opposed to just kind of like, you know, again, you don't know where the movie's going ever. You know,
but I'm also not invested in where it's going.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Because
we don't really understand these guys. You know,
they're not endearing enough to be likable, and they're not despicable enough to be compelling.
That's a great line, Will.
You know,
that's exactly right.
That's the shirt.
Let me write that down.
Yeah.
The title of your sex tape.
My own private
Idaho.
Damn it. Yes.
Dude. Wait, the first feature film role of Jim Caviezel? I don't remember seeing Jim Caviezel in this movie.
Oh.
Jesus Christ
That's
himself is in
because
this movie.
that's because he scrubbed it. He scrubbed it from.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, this is Gus Van Sant is
This is
also
James Franco's favorite film. Says a lot about James Franco,
wow.
to be quite honest.
Oddly
This
enough, Dave Franco's least favorite film.
that's why he's the better Franco. But yeah, like Gus Van Sant, I still don't know how that dude made Good Will Hunting because that's like one of my favorite comfort movies. I love that movie. And I would definitely put this in more of the upper tier of his filmography, but that's because the lower tier of his filmography is like Elephant, which I think is complete trash,
Yeah.
and the Psycho remake, which I'm like, I don't know why this exists.
It's like a weird prank on everybody.
Yeah, so it's definitely, like I said, upper tier of his filmography, but I don't see anything from this guy where I'm like, how did
Yeah.
he just show up on Good Will Hunting and just call action and cut and
Well, I
Ben
do like
Affleck
him
and
in
Matt Damon really made it?
Jay and Silent Bob.
Yes,
That's
was
the
that
best, yeah.
literally the situation?
Jesus,
He
I
just-
said I'm busy.
That's all I could think about him on set.
Yeah.
Because you hear that name and you think, wow, yeah, oh yeah, Gus Van Sant, very prestigious director. And I'm like looking through his filmography, I'm like, is he though?
yeah,
Yeah. No, I'm looking right now because then we had
But
Good
he's
Will
an
Hunting.
incredible filmmaker. Like, I mean, like
Yeah.
look at this movie, like the way it's shot, the way it's edited, like it's absolutely gorgeous, and you can see why it's a Criterion film.
yeah.
Like that's immediately clear. But still, I'm just like, I don't really want to watch this ever again,
Yeah, no.
or either of these movies. So anyway, Napoleon Dynamite.
Uh,
Now let's like for 1 second, let's say so Gus Van Sant, right? Good Will Hunting, 97. Everyone loves that movie. Now he's done a few like even Cowgirls Get the Blues. I remember people talking about that one. But Psycho the remake, then Finding Forrester, which was basically just Good Will Hunting
yeah.
2 with
which is all right.
Hunting
I
season.
liked it.
Yeah,
I liked
no,
it, but
it's
just
good.
it feels like they just said,
Yeah.
Gus, do that again. And
I
it
mean-
looks like feels like everything about it is
That's
that.
the Sean Connery.
Sean
Yeah,
Connery, yes.
That's where we get "You're the man now, dog." Which
That's right, yeah.
if you remember the internet in the early 2000s, that was my existence on the internet was "You're the man now, dog."
But but look at the people he's working with. I mean, like we do Jerry, which is the Matt Damon, Casey Affleck. Now we got Elephant, which is the Columbine movie. Last Days about Kurt Cobain, Paranoid Park. But then we get Milk. That was another one that got him a lot of attention.
That-
Was
again, that's
Milk.
it's good.
Restless, Bryce Dallas Howard, Ron Howard. We've got Promised Land, which is Matt Damon, John Krasinski, Frances McDormand. We've got Sea of Trees, which is Matthew McConaughey, Ken Watanabe, Naomi Watts. We got Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot, Joaquin Phoenix, Jonah Hill, Rooney Mara, Jack Black. Never heard of that movie. And now we got Dead Man's Wire, which is coming out 2020, which just came out 2025. And it's like he works with great people and he makes interesting movies, but
Yeah.
like he's
Yeah.
I so much agree with you now. And then Ryan, until you pointed out the filmography, I realized, wow, he's made less movies that I appreciate than I thought.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like,
But you hear that name
mostly
and you're
Good
like,
Will
wow,
Hunting.
yeah, oh yeah. You're like, oh, have you seen that new GVS?
GVS joint, yeah.
From the twisted mind, from the unhinged mind of Gus Van Sant.
Yeah, so he's maybe it's just his name. His name sounds like it
It
belongs
carries
to
some
him.
carries
prestigious.
some weight to it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, this movie was like put into Congress for being, historically important and influential and stuff like that. So it's just definitely grown into sort of like a cult movie and a cult following, and it definitely had enough of an impact that here we are.
You should clarify this movie was put into the Library of Congress and not into Congress. Just because
Well,
we
no,
might-
nothing about this movie breaks the law, so that it would not get into Congress.
I will just leave it at that. But like this movie, I feel like is one of those ones that if you're a movie buff / fan, you probably should see it once. But it's definitely not my favorite movie. I was glad I saw it because, like I said, I was just really enjoying watching River Phoenix and Keanu Reeves do good work. I was seeing Udo Kier do sort of weird stuff. But yeah, like Ryan was kind of saying, I was like, okay. I paused it at one point. I go, all right, halfway. Cool.
I did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I think right before they get to Idaho, I'm like, because they don't get there until I think we're about halfway through the film, right?
Yeah.
Even then, that's Oregon, technically.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah.
I liked it, but I also wouldn't
Never want to
recommend
see
it.
it again. Yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
if you're like an art house student, you've probably already seen this movie, to be
yeah,
honest with
you've
you.
probably got
Yeah.
the poster on your wall. You know what I
Or
mean?
yeah, or if you're a woman, you will probably
Yeah.
like this movie. As we've
Yeah.
kind of learned, I think it's it's filled
I
with
get the
pretty boys,
yeah.
uh, being angsty, doing pretty boy things.
With their shirts off.
Yep.
Yep. So and it is like it's one of these movies where we might not watch it again,
Right.
but not for lack of it being like a bad movie.
Mm.
It's just
No,
not
no, no, no.
not to our
Or
sensibilities.
not
I
necessarily the target market.
I
Yeah,
I can see
also
exactly.
some people loving this movie, and I
Oh yeah.
understand why. It's
right,
just not
yeah.
my flavor.
I the
Right.
the narcolepsy angle of it was also
Strange.
kind of lost on me. Like
What triggers it and why? It's always like heightened sexual experiences, or just thinking
Like
about it.
a lot of anxiety, I guess, triggers it.
yeah.
But
Was that part of the Shakespeare thing?
Exactly. You know,
Did old Hank have some fucking sleep issues?
Henry the Fourth just kept falling asleep during his own
yeah,
play.
you remember
Yeah.
Kenneth
Yeah.
Branagh doing that? Yeah, no, absolutely. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
In the middle of his big speech, he just falls asleep. You know? But no, narcolepsy. This movie sometimes made me feel like I had it.
I was
Yeah.
convinced. I woke up and I was in Paris or Italy, wherever the fuck I went.
Rome.
Because it does like just smash cut to him waking up on like a fountain, like, oh shit, I'm across the
Yeah, I mean, like
what?
even like sort of the end of the movie, he falls asleep. We don't know where he's going or why. Then he gets robbed, and then he gets picked up by someone else strange and put in a car and drives away. Credits, and I'm just like, again,
I was primed for something really horrible to happen to one of the main characters.
Yeah,
Right.
but
Like
no.
especially that they're rent boys in this time in this area. I'm like, something's gonna get a little dicey,
Mhm.
and
Yeah. But
someone's
that
gonna get stabbed probably,
yeah.
and
That
not in
last
the fun
shot
way.
though, I had that moment. Sometimes I have like a sense of this where like a movie's been going on for a while and there will be a scene that crops up and I'm like, oh, we're just gonna cut the credits, aren't we?
Mhm.
And it was like that big overhead shot of the road. I'm like, this is gonna be the last frame, isn't
Yeah.
it? And sure enough, that happened. And I'm like, all right, yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really
Delete
makes you
yeah.
think isn't the right word. Um,
Yes, and that's exactly it. You know, I think sort of like really sort of hitting the nail on the head about this movie is if you're looking for weird vibes, then this is the movie for you. If you're looking for a couple of laughs and a bit of stuff that's a bit inappropriate, the to-do list is the movie for you. If you're looking for a movie about Idaho, Napoleon Dynamite is 100%
Yeah.
that movie. Like in this particular case, like it's not even a close run thing.
No.
Napoleon.
Yeah, but for how Idaho Napoleon Dynamite is, for the fact it's shot all over it, for sometimes like the guy eating the egg, that's just like the
Yeah.
farmer who you can barely understand. That's just the guy
That's
actually
that's
speaking.
that's the director.
While the camera's just rolling, it's like in this particular case, My Own Private Idaho is a bit of a road trip movie that's barely like while you're tripping.
Yeah.
And the to-do list does like to set itself in Idaho and Boise, but at the same time, it could have been much like we were saying. You can take the 90s out of it, you can take the Idaho out of it. It doesn't really factor in like why
Yeah.
Right.
we're in Idaho for any real particular reason. So currently, I'm just calling it. Our champion
Yeah.
still here at the United States movie is definitely going to be Napoleon Dynamite. But
To
that
the
doesn't-
surprise of no one.
but there are some other sort of like swings that we could take. Especially like, our first time around, like I remember, didn't we do Smoke Signals as well?
We
That
did
was one of
yeah.
the
some
ones.
ones, yeah. Mhm.
And so in this particular case, like I'm looking that there are some sort of like that touch on the native area aspect of, that's the one thing like My Own Private Idaho, you've got the reservation cop,
Mhm.
coming in,
Yes.
sort of like dealing with like I was like, all right, okay, there's a little Idaho nod there. I'm like, tick that one.
Mhm.
But like that's as close as close it came. I mean, I was thinking that it would have been kind of fun, like you had suggested doing Toys, being just such a random fucking movie,
Yeah.
like that I haven't seen in a long time. Barry Levinson, there's Clint Eastwood, Bronco Billy.
Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. Pink
Well-
Flamingos.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Georgia Rule, apparently, which I figured was like set in Georgia, but no. But that's Jane Fonda movie, which I've like apparently that's set there. I Will Fight No More, an old sort of like 1975 James Whitmore, Ned Ramage, Sam Elliott sort of Native American movie. A Home of Our Own, Kathy Bates, sort of like moving back to Idaho. That's 1993. So there's like
Hot
things.
Dog the movie, anyone? A
Uh,
skiing movie? That's what it's called, Hot Dog the movie?
Kid Cannabis popped up. McFarlane USA. I think people were talking about the
McFarland
whale.
USA is a California movie, which I have
Yeah.
been wanting to do actually because I really like that movie. It
It
is
says it's set in Boise, Idaho, but
it's
I
set in
can't. You can't trust what.
McFarland,
I can't believe they
USA.
gave I
It's
can't believe they gave
California.
Seth MacFarlane his own town.
I was
So
gonna
there-
say Todd McFarlane USA.
so, you know, like interesting enough, Idaho is a weird state. I
Yeah.
don't mean that in a bad way, Idaho. I mean it in an interesting way. It's kind of hard to pin you down. You've got a kind of interesting way of yourself. You've got an interesting sort of history. You've got movies from the left, the right, the center, the middle, the up, the down, the comedy, the weird, the historical. That it's like it's a very, very hard state compared to like say California, compared to Texas, compared to New York. So next
Some
time
would say
around-
compared to Nebraska. I wouldn't say it. but Some would.
what's Nebraska?
Oh.
Speaking of Nebraska, we're not going there next week. Where are we going next week? What's-
Forever.
What state are we going to next week?
Going to the Big Sky state of Montana.
That's
right?
right. That's right. And that's we're not only are we going
Yes.
to Montana, we are watching a movie like The Champion. I forgot even existed as a movie, but our
Yeah.
champion last time
Picked
Mending
two
the
fishing
Line.
movies.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did. Mending the Line, the Brian Cox, interesting movie that we did. All right, fine, it works. But I will tell you this much: that as much as it did take us a couple of weeks to watch our movies for Idaho, I don't feel like that's going to be a problem for me
I'm watching both of them right now.
this week. Will, why don't you
Yes.
pick one of the movies that we're doing, which honestly wasn't even suggested by Will. It was
I know.
suggested by Ryan, and I'm very excited about it.
Exactly. We
I
are
knew he was
doing-
going to pick it anyway.
I was definitely gonna do it. It is Star Trek First Contact. Hell yeah. We're getting on the Enterprise E, baby. We're going back in time to 30 years in the future from now. World War III has happened. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, apparently something kicked off in Iran. And
Another
then,
cautionary
Yeah.
tale. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get a preview of what the next few months are gonna look like, everybody.
But I'll tell you this
Oh, no.
much, Ryan. First Contact is one of the absolute peak.
Speaking of First Contact, I picked Arrival.
That's true. Good segue as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got Denis Villeneuve's Arrival, an absolutely top draw science
almost
fiction
as good.
movie. And then we've got Star Trek First Contact, an absolutely top draw science
Yeah.
fiction movie, going up against a fishing movie. Fuck
Yeah.
you, Mending the Line. We're giving you both barrels this week.
Suck it, Brian Cox. Just kidding. I love you.
So if you're interested in joining along and watching the movies with us, you can of course find Star Trek First Contact on Paramount Plus. Or you could just not subscribe to them and you could just steal it.
Or you could just find Will as like the Fisher King walking around LA
Yeah,
screaming the script at you.
Yeah, just give me a call. I will recite the entire movie to you. Like so.
Okay, cool. I'm going to give you a call in about 20 minutes. All right, great.
Sweet.
And then Arrival on our non-sponsor sponsor, who'll one day be a sponsor, Just Watch. It is actually available on Canopy and Hoopla. But also available in my Vudu because I've owned this movie for a long time because it's gorgeous. Is this not a
I don't even
Deakins
think-
movie as well?
Yeah.
I thought it was.
I think it's it's a
yeah,
Denis
with,
Villeneuve Deakins movie. I'm gonna double check.
And it was, I think the soundtrack was composed by not Ludwig Göransson. It was I forget his name, but he had passed away. I think like it was right after this movie had come out. Incredible
okay.
composer.
Weird Al.
Because they used that Max Richter song from The Leftovers, which and subsequently in The Last of Us, which is just like HBO's cue to like, we got to use this song to make everybody cry, and it works on me I'm swelling up just thinking about it right now.
Johan Johansson.
That's it.
Yeah, I remember that. Also, but funny enough, I was wrong. No, the cinematographer is Bradford Young, who
Oh.
we've had on the show. He did
Son-in-law. Oh,
And he also did Solo, a Star Wars story.
Oh.
But no, he's done some really like interesting
Yeah.
work. And most violently is Selma Arrival, which did earn him a nomination for Academy Award. So yeah, I'm like, if you haven't seen it, you're in for a real treat. It's
so
not that
Alex Garland, right? This my
Arrival?
Denis
No.
Is it
Villeneuve.
not Alex? Oh, Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Denis
The,
Villeneuve,
the
man.
other one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this movie, yeah, man, it made
I loved
$200
it.
million. It got a lot of attention. It's a very, very different science fiction movie. Do not watch the Charlie Sheen one, or
And
alternatively do.
and the short story of the book is also incredible.
Really intrigued. Can't wait. So next time around, we are heading kind of to Montana via
To
space. So we
Space
go.
Montana.
Yeah.
Star Trek First Contact and Arrival. This time around, though, like our champion, still Napoleon Dynamite. As always, we're always looking for suggestions for the movies you think we should be watching, and you can always send them to me. You can find me at Ollie Petticoat on Facebook, or That Englishman in Texas everywhere else. You can find Will as Entitled Willennial on Instagram and TikTok. He loves to talk old movies, and he's definitely going to get into talking about special features, because this is what I want. This is the content I want from you, Will.
Ooh, yeah.
I know. I got to work on that.
That's a
less
goddamn
videos
gold
about
mine.
less videos about making fun of the weigh-ins, because all the hate I got from that. And more about-
You make one white chicks joke and fucking internet lights you up, dude.
yeah.
Don't forget, you can also find Ryan's designs as Rhino Digital, RYNO Digital. Got some great redesigns of classic movie posters.
Did you post my my own private Duncan Idaho poster on Facebook?
I will be posting.
I was
that
telling Ollie, like, I
tomorrow.
had this. I watched my own private Idaho, and I'm sitting there thinking like, Duncan Idaho. Oh, my own private Duncan Idaho. I'm like, I should make a poster. And then 3 days later, I'm like, if I don't make this poster, I'm gonna have a fucking a brain aneurysm. So I actually went and did it, and just it made me giggle as I was doing it.
Done and done. It's going up on the Facebook page tomorrow when this episode lands. Congratulations, Ryan. We'll get that out there, and we'll get that movie made.
Yes.
The people need to see it.
Absolutely do. Thank you. If you're watching us on YouTube and haven't subscribed, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button, jump in the comments, give us something else. But other than that, we really appreciate you guys being here. And thanks for joining us for this episode of the United States of a Movie podcast. We head off to a bold frontier of, oh man, I've forgotten the line. We're in Star Trek. Oh, Will's quitting.
Oh well, who knows? It could be anything. You know?
In a galaxy far. Nope, that's the other
that's
one.
not it. That's something to do with
to
Dune.
infinity. Wait,
No.
Space. Who the fuck cares?
Montana versus space.
That's it. That's
There we
the
go.
one. There. Now we can end the episode. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time, everybody.